Um, Adrian, I think you and I have done a lot of, we've had discussions about the impact of climate change. Do you have an opinion about that?
Yes, sir. And I believe we did our first session together in this committee in 2011, so I appreciate your seniority here on the committee. Climate change is one of the, or should be, one of the driving issues of our time, right? It's already resulting in global migrations. It is changing the way that we do business, the way that we produce energy. It's changing where people live, how they live. We often talk about the just astronomical consequences of dealing with climate change, but not dealing with it is going to be more expensive. I mentioned before, my primary interest here is in health and safety. There's a direct link between the impacts of climate change and other health and safety consequences of pollution. So appreciate that. And Representative Reynolds, you and others have some good bills getting Texas to kind of start on that path of addressing climate change, study, Climate Change Assessment Council. It's time we started taking climate change seriously in the legislature.
Is there any, we've heard testimony that's been politicized, and I would agree that it has been politicized. Is there any science to substantiate that climate change is real?
Absolutely, sir. And you say it's been politicized, and honestly, it's a question of trade-offs, right? Where do we want our investment? Where do we want our dollars? It's been said that that's what politics is, right? It's the allocation of scarce resources to priorities, right? And again, if you think about this ultimately as not what we're doing to the planet, but what we're doing to ourselves, the people who have to live on the planet, I think the choice becomes clear. As for scientific evidence, the scientific consensus on climate change is clear, but you don't have to believe the science at this point because we are experiencing it every day in Texas, right? Globally, I think something like 15 of the hottest 20 years on record have been within the last 2 decades, right? Texas is the #1 state in terms of vulnerability to billion-dollar weather disasters, right? Fully 40% of the billion-dollar weather disasters in the United States since 1980 have hit Texas, all right? We're talking about wildfires, freezes, heat waves, hurricanes. All of those come to Texas, and all of them are made worse by climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Chairman Anchia.
Thank you. And I know we heard some testimony earlier that climate change has been politicized, but there really is no disagreement among climatologists, right, in the IPCC consensus that there's broad scientific consensus that man-made activity is causing climate change, right?
That's right, sir. It's one of the most robust fields of science that's been developed over the last 50 years. The global scientific community has reached consensus here and has for a long time. And we know this in part because the very industries that contribute to climate change, their own scientists concluded 50 years ago that this was an issue that they chose to put off. So it's really unfortunate what's happened. And again, we're already feeling the effects.
And I'm not sure you're aware of this, but even our state climatologist at Texas A&M agrees with the IPCC consensus and has confirmed this on repeated occasions in committee. You're aware of this?
Yes, sir. John Nielsen Gammon has put out some amazing reports over the years, very, very matter of fact about the reality. And again, using data in Texas, right? You could look at how hot it is in the state over time and draw your own conclusion.
And that I'm glad you pointed out that the oil and gas industry believes in climate change. You can look at the biennial British Petroleum climate assessment to know it's true. ExxonMobil as it talks about this. They were formerly headquartered in Irving. Certainly the insurance industry understands that climate change is real, and people wonder about insurance rates in the state of Texas and why they're going up. Well, it's massive, severe weather events that are causing insurance companies to have to raise premiums because the losses are massive. But yet nobody, or very few people in this building ever want to talk about that. And so I'm glad you were talking about it.
Yes, sir, and I believe Texas is about 3rd or 4th in terms of insurance premiums in the country right now. Look at Florida for Texas's future. A policy costs an average of $12,000 That's a homeowner's insurance policy in Florida today. Insurers are leaving in droves. Insurers are starting to leave Texas. One small point there, I wouldn't say industry believes in climate change. You don't believe in science. Scientific evidence leads you somewhere, right? You draw conclusions based on data in the scientific method.
Yeah, that is a better way to say it. Well, thanks for being here and covering this committee, and I look forward to having this dialogue through the entirety of our legislative session.
Thank you, sir.
Members, any, Representative Baumgartner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you,